What's up, everybody? My name is Big Cam and welcome back to a trailer reaction, and today we are talking about the final trailer, and it has some new shots and it giving us more of an understanding of Nicholas Hoult's Lex Luthor and his motivations and what's going to be happening in this movie, and we're starting to get a little bit more of a clear picture of what's going on. Still, I'm sure there will be great mysteries and stuff in there and surprises, but let's get right on into this trailer and break down everything that we see and that we notice, but some epic new shots, some stuff that we've seen, but now getting, more depth and understanding of like the situation at hand and what's going on in these scenes that we've seen. But we're a little under a month, or just under a month away going to see Superman, and ticket sales are online now, and they broke the ticket website's first day, and the most ticket sales for a movie in 2025 so far, broke the record of Fantastic Four that went on sale a week before, even though the Fantastic Four movie comes out a week after Superman, so wouldn't the tickets should have been on sale at, who cares, honestly. But the month of June and July have been a crazy month for movies. I honestly want to get over to the movie theater maybe later today to see one of the 3 movies that I want to see right now, because I want to see them on a big screen. That feels like the proper way to watch things. But enough of that. Let's jump on into this trailer and see what we can find and see what we notice. But if I miss anything, make sure you drop it down in the comment section or send it to me on my other social medias. Links for those down in the description down below. But let's get into this trailer.
Superman. The most powerful being on planet Earth.
Alright, so we see a giant building getting knocked into another building. I'm guessing the kaiju giant monster thing is knocking over this building, and Superman, while fighting that giant monster, sees that the building is about to crush this bridge and a bunch of people, and seems like he jumps into action. We hear the John Williams theme song. Oh, such a good theme song. And this woman's like, I should be dead! And then she looks over and Superman's got all 4s on this building trying to hold it up, and the cape's going straight down, you know what I mean? And we hear Nicholas Hoult's Lex Luthor saying, Superman, the most powerful being on Earth. And we see Superman rising out of the dust cloud that is probably from that building collapsing once he lets it go. But hopefully he gets all the people out of there safe beforehand, Love to see our most powerful superhero saving individuals like he should be, Like, he shouldn't just be fighting the giant kaiju. He should be fighting the kaiju and making sure everyone's safe. Because he's Superman, he's fast, he's strong, he can do that type of shit. On to the next portion of the trailer.
We finally meet. Now, as planned, I'll destroy you. And of course, that reporter you always do interviews with. Who raised you as a child? I'll kill them too.
From the visionary director James Gunn, in his new universe he's starting here, and oh boy do I believe this is gonna be one hell of a stepping stone. But we see Lex is landing in his jet thing, and he is outside of the Sanctum Sanctorum and somehow opening the doors. But we see Miss Tessmacher, his girlfriend, himself, the engineer, and also Ultraman there with him when we see them walking through the doors, and they start ripping apart the android, Superman drones, and we see a blade fly right past Lex's face with no flinching as it rips apart one of the drones right around him, and he walks up to see the device that was healing Superman. So he must be trying to destroy this device, because he must be the one that injured Superman, that makes him crash down and then get dragged back to the Fortress of Solitude. I might have called it the Sanctum Sanctorum a minute ago, I'm sorry about that. But the Fortress of Solitude, he gets dragged back by Crypto, we've seen in other trailers. So maybe Lex is showing up here to destroy this healing device to, you know, so that he can't keep healing himself after Lex hurts him. That's a decent idea. I just had that right now, so could be wrong, could be right. But we also see the shot of Ultraman slamming his face into the ground. He's just got his like eye, you know, just like looking out of the like rubble. We see a great shot of the Daily Planet as he says, you know, he's trying to destroy Superman, and of course that reporter you always do interviews with, so he's going to try and destroy Superman and anyone around Superman that has access or, you know, has done anything with him or for him. So Lois, watch out for Lex. So Lex is after Superman, Lois, and then he says, "Who raised you as a child?" And we see shots of Ma and Pa Kent. Ma Kent was just on like a news Good Morning America type of thing the other day, talking about her role and how she's never had a big role and how she just hopes people like her as Ma Kent, and if this movie does well and people like her as this role, like her life's about to change forever. And yeah, I hope it fucking does, because Ma fucking Kent, like from that one shot we saw in the last trailer, hold on, I'm gonna get your shoes, right? Like, I can't wait to see this woman, and if anything happens to her, James Gunn, I will riot. Oh, but who raised you as a child? I'll kill them too. Really setting the tone of like, this Lex Luthor is a dark bastard. Like, he is not a good man. Like, he is going to be doing some messed up things. And like, we see him crash down to the Arctic and that like smug little smirk. So it seems like Lex is going to be putting little chess moves out there as like countermeasures to Superman. Like, it seems like he's the one that sends the kaiju. He's the one that's going to send the engineer, Ultraman. There's apparently a white alien named Mr. Handsome that kids are obsessed with, but apparently he's creepy. But, you know, his name's Mr. Handsome and he was created by Lex. So like, we don't know. We also know that we see some shots of like Metamorpho in other trailers and then later this trailer. So like, why is Metamorpho, we saw in a previous trailer, Metamorpho had like kryptonite, and that's why like Superman is in this like cell, because obviously he's weaker because this guy's making him, you know, use kryptonite on him. But why is, you know, Metamorpho listening to Lex? Lex must have something on Metamorpho so that he's, you know, not wanting to, but having to torture Superman for him. I don't know, but yeah, so we see the shot of Superman wheezing in the snow, so he must have just got hurt somehow. I don't know if this is him coming from the kryptonite cell or if this is before the kryptonite cell, but either way, he just took a beating and crash lands in the Arctic, and then, you know, makes his way back and gets healed and picked up by his androids, which one of them is voiced by Alan Tudyk, one of them is voiced by Michael Rooker, and there's a couple other people, but interesting little drone droid things. But on to the next portion of this trailer.
No matter what you do to me, Luthor, your plans won't work. Wrap it up. Good luck with that.
Ooh, on July 11th, Superman is going to be kicking some ass. But we see, you know, the shots of the Fortress of Solitude, icicles coming out of the ground. We see the shots of him getting healed by the sun. We also see a different angle of the kaiju fire blast where he's like swooping around the fire blast, which kind of looks cool, you know, and why maybe his suit's a little burned, but why like his hair isn't burned off his body. Who knows, maybe his hair's fireproof as well. I don't know, Superman's DNA. But we see the Hammer of Baravia using laser vision to wipe out a building. We see that shot of him like taking the fire in front of the building before he says, you know, hey, big guy, up here, you know, like, my eyes are up here type of thing. We see probably another shot of the Hammer of Baravia using laser vision on Superman. And we hear Kal-El saying to Lex throughout this trailer, no matter what you do to me, Luthor, your plans won't work. And he's like, you know, Luthor's like, well, all right, wrap it up, you know, telling whoever he has commissioned to attack Superman, the Hammer of Baravia, maybe all of these people. And he's like, all right, let's wrap it up. And we see a shot of him saying, all right, good luck with that, before he shoots off into the air. And then him and Krypto are beating up these guys. And Superman punches this guy so hard that his teeth, 3 teeth, go clanging off of camera before he shoots off with Krypto, and they're fighting crime together. So we're going to see Krypto and Superman side by side crime fighting in this movie. sounds awesome to me. Interesting shot there though, when right before he says good luck with that, and then he blasts off. We see like a shot of him, and he's like got laser beam burns around his eyes. So one of two thoughts happened to me right as I was watching this. I was like, why is his eyes burned? Isn't he the one that's supposed to be laser visioning? And then we never see his like crispy eyes or afterwards. So either he shot his laser beam into like a mirror and it came right back and like burned him, or he went to do it and the Hammer of Bravia did it and like his was stronger, the Hammer of Bravia, and it like zapped him and now he's got this like burn. I don't know, but we see like, you know, a few other shots throughout the trailer now where like probably the rest of the movie he's got like this raccoon burn bruise around his eyes or something like that. I don't know, but on to the next portion of this wonderful trailer.
Make a move, Big Blue.
Oh boy. So on July 11th, the entire world will look up, and that's like been the title promo thing that they've been saying throughout the entire-ness of this Superman. You will believe a man can fly, I think was like the original Superman. So this one's like, look up so you don't miss him flying type of thing. I don't know. We'll find out more what look up means when we see the movie. But we see like what I thought was Metamorpho's powers. Seems like it's maybe Lex splitting New York or Metropolis at this point, splitting Metropolis into two, and like maybe there is like a older Superman Returns, I believe, with Kevin Spacey as Lex, where he's like trying to make an island and is like make new land so like he can own the land and everyone else is now, you know, gonna have to buy his land from him. And like I believe there's something in the comics as well where like Lex tries to like make his own island type thing, and that seems like what that shot was to me. Like it's splitting Metropolis right down the middle, almost like parting the Red Sea type of thing, but right through the city. And I don't know if that's Metamorpho powers or if that's like something Lex is doing, or maybe like this city splitting and then it's like taking off into atmosphere, kind of like Age of Ultron with Sokovia, you know what I mean? Like all of a sudden it's like, the city is airborne. Yeah, I see that. But we see Guy Gardner in Superman face to face. He says, make a move, Big Blue. And I kind of like that, you know, he's talking to him like he's a big Boy Scout, you know. That's kind of what Superman is. He's kind of so good he's a Boy Scout, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. We see on the Metropolis Meteors baseball field, Ultraman and Superman fighting, and it seems like the engineer in the background has Mr. Terrific like on the ground already like restrained. Maybe the nanotechs she's controlling in him or something like that. We also see a shot of the crew in the Daily Planet, Mr. Terrific. We see a shot of Metamorpho in this like this crazy space, and like Metamorpho's got these like blue tendrils holding Superman, but also like coming towards him, and Superman's holding this like bluish greenish baby, which a lot of people were saying his name is like Baby Joe or something like that, and he is Metamorpho's son. And like this is all from like Jenna Anderson. Go read some comics if you haven't. Her breakdown for this was great. And she's very knowledgeable when it comes to the comics and stuff like that. I just, you know, am a big, huge, giant fan of these things. I don't claim to be an expert. I just claim to be a giant fan, as long as we're clear on that. But we see a shot of Lois piloting a spaceship, and this is Mr. Terrific's T-ship, and we see like maybe Mr. Terrific's in like the background, so maybe she's getting them out of there. But we also see Jimmy Olsen and Perry White, Mr. Perry, Mr. White, Perry White, Mr. White, I think is his name, and that is just hilarious. He's like in this ship, he's smoking a cigar still, and he's just like holding on as she flies them away. And then we end that shot with, "Will look up. The entire world will look up." And he's like using like this giant concrete stick as like a baseball bat, and he's hitting Ultraman with it. Now, is Ultraman going to be somebody big? Like, is the guy, once they unmask Ultraman, is he going to be like this big actor, big surprise? Maybe. Or maybe he'll just be masked the whole time. He'll just be Ultraman. I don't know. On to the next portion of this trailer.
They chose him. Let them die. messing around. I'm doing important stuff.
So this is a very important part to me because it confirms that we will have a lot of James Gunn humor in there as well as some great badass stuff. Because what James Gunn does best, other than animals and making you care about animated creatures like a raccoon in a tree, he does humor and heart incredibly well. And that's, I believe, two things that this movie's going to need. And it has tons of heart. You know, this little kid in a war zone holding up this Superman flag, other people helping him, they're all chanting Superman, and then, you know, there's a big crowd chanting Superman, and then Lex is all pissed off, and this is kind of like the whole point, is like these humans are choosing this alien, and, you know, they chose Superman, and Lex is like, fuck him, they should choose me. And that's like the whole jealousy of like Lex, and he's like, they chose him, let them die. Jesus, Lex, alright. And then we see that giant kaiju foot smushing a truck with a bunch of these pistons on it or whatever, and Superman coming in to save this girl and spring into action. And great practical shot. And then we see Superman like laying there for a second, you know, definitely hurt, not feeling too great. And we see Mr. Terrific looking down at him like, hey, quit messing around. I'm not messing around, I'm doing important stuff. You know, he's like laying there hurt. Like, what's so important about this, Superman? But I just thought that was a funny scene. But on to the final and last portion of this trailer.
Up here.
Oh, God. David Cornswet, Rachel Brosnahan, Nicholas Hoult, Eddie Gathegi, Anthony Carrigan, Nathan Fillion, Isabella Merced. Wow. Wow. What a team. What a crew. And those are like the stars of this movie. James Gunn. Fuck me, dude. What a fucking... The end of that ticket's on sale. See it in IMAX. You know, he's like, hey, buddy, up here. He shoots up, and then we see it in IMAX. And get tickets now on sale. And we see Superman go, you know, whipping through a cloud, just going fast as hell. The cape rippling, the way his suit looks, the way that we're like, you know, he's kind of blasting past us, but like we're kind of trying to catch up to him, you know, like... I feel like this looks so good, man. Some of the shots people were like, oh, it looks weird. It looks weird because we don't see a human being flying by themselves, you know? Like, some of these scenes, like, you know, this is how I picture Superman. 2 arms out in front and just, you know, straight body, cape flapping in the wind. Like, that's how I picture that, my guy, you know? And, yeah, I feel like, you know, when this guy blasts into, you know, supersonic speed mode, I'm going to be eating all that up, but... Yeah, baby. I'm really digging the Superman logo, the theme song. I love the beginning of that clip where they like do this slow-mo shot. They turn around on like this slow shot of the logo. The details on the blue, like the little material you can see and the stitchings on the blue. Oh, it looks so good. And then they spin around and zoom back out to see that Crypto and him are kicking a bunch of these dudes' asses up in the air. And Superman ends up doing a little bit of a spin the dreidel with like the laser vision on it. He's spinning around, zapping all these fools, and they're like all up in the air. Why are they all up in the air? But, you know, I don't know. But we see like Crypto jumping around, kicking these guys' asses too, and flying, and Superman just spinning around, zapping all these fools. Like, what a great shot. So, of course, there's going to be innovative, cool, new shots. There's going to be things that we've seen Superman do in this movie that I guarantee we have not seen him do in any other of these films. He's also got like a uniform. It's not just like clothes that he wears underneath his suit. Like, this is a uniform that he wears as a hero protecting this world. And it's also interesting that James Gunn has said that superheroes in this universe have been around for 300 years. And we're picking up on the alien Superman in this universe. And I loved what David Cornswet had to say in an interview, because obviously Henry Cavill Superman didn't have the trunks, and they were saying the trunks look, you know, weird, and they look nerdy, and they, you know, they don't make them look manly and like heroic, and they, you know, don't look cool. And David Cornswet, you know, and James Gunn wanted the trunks, but he was leaning towards what Zack Snyder had said, and that they tried many different iterations of it, but they ended up, you know, just not going with them. And David Cornswet was like, But what if Superman, Clark Kent, you know, wears the trunks on purpose to look funny, to look goofy, to look like kids can walk up to him and be approachable to kids because he wants the human people to like him. He wears these bright colors and this, you know, trunks to be, you know, human, to be like he's wearing a costume, to make it like he's there for them and he doesn't want to be them to be afraid of him when really he's an alien that can fly and shoot laser vision out of his eyes, you know, and like he's bulletproof. Like, yeah, that's on paper sounds terrifying, but when he's wearing this bright red cape and these bright blues and this yellow logo and this yellow belt with these bright red trunks, kids are like, he looks like Captain Underpants, you know, like that type of thing where like maybe he's intentionally looking funny because he's so powerful and dangerous that he's like, I gotta relate to these people. And then it adds just even more detail that like Ma and Pa Kent, like Ma Kent made his suit. And I don't know if that's true. You know, in comics and previous movies, it's always been kind of like Ma Kent made his suit. I'm assuming she made his suit just from that one line of like, hold on, I'll go get your boots. And like, you know, she's probably the one that has made this suit for him. But, you know, maybe this is the same type of suit that he was sent to Earth in from Krypton as a baby. Who knows? Will we see any of that? I doubt it. I honestly don't think we're going to see like the true origin story. Like, I don't think we're going to see teenage or young Clark. Maybe if we do, it will be real quick. But I have a feeling we're going to jump right on in with like Clark at the Daily Planet, and like him and Lois have been already dating for a few months is like what I'm hearing is like what's going on. And I'm like, man, how interesting. They're like 3 months into dating. Lex is super mad because the people are choosing Superman. Superman is like just trying to do the right thing, and the government and people like Lois is like taking their side and always like challenging him and finding things that he could have done better. And like he's like, I'm just trying to do the right thing. The people could have died. And she's like, yes, but you could have also done this and this and that. And you're Superman. You have to be better, you know? Like, you can't just do your best, you know? You have to be the best, you know? Like, I don't know, man. It's going to be really interesting, and I'm fascinated to see this movie, and I will be there. I have a wedding that weekend when it comes out, too. So if tickets are sold out for that Thursday, I'm screwed. But I will be there that Thursday, whatever showtime I have to see Superman that weekend, because I will not get this movie spoiled for me, and I need to see it. I've been dying to see this movie. I've done multiple trailer reactions on the channel, so go check those out if you haven't. And if you want to talk more Superman with me, message me down in my other social medias down in the links in the description below, or you can comment below. That really helps the channel grow and support the channel. If you would like to really support me, like this video, subscribe if you're new and you haven't already. Make sure you hit that bell so you don't miss future videos. You get the notifications when the Superman movie review comes out. And thank you guys so much for coming on by. Once again, my name's Big Cam, and I will see you beautiful people in the next one. Peace!